Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. It is Wednesday night, February the 8th. And these are the charts of the day. Today, some longs and some shorts, as promised. But first, let's go over some of the stocks that really acted well today on a 1,000% increase in volume. FFN jumped 42.86% today on 3.7 million. That is a big move. Now, you can see the way that it was developing after the big downtrend, based out for a couple months. Exploded here from 62 cents to $1.50. Pulled back, and by the way, that was right to resistance. Pulled back and filled and formed a little wedge here as volume dissipated. Held the rising moving averages, which had crossed over and turned up, and then exploded on the last couple sessions from 112.13 range up to 219, or doubling, and coming right up to lateral resistance up around the 215.19 range. That was my target. Going forward, though, we could see the stock get up as high as perhaps 3, but first I would look for some sort of consolidation potentially in this zone. We'll see if momentum carries it further, or whether that's the case. Guidance software with a big day and a strong earning. The stock exploded, opened at 9, went to 11.07. To close 10.45, up 266, 34%. That was a very, very big move. Take a look at the long-term chart, and you'll see that a very nice, beautiful rising 3-year channel. Resistance here was taken out, though, with a thrust today. It did reach secondary resistance at the top of the channel, so we may get some consolidation in the zone. Or if it does get through, my next target's 14.5, 3/4, maybe even as high as 15. But let's see if we get a consolidation first for a setup to that level. Electricity, nice day today. You can see how earlier last week, the stock popped from the 77 cent range up to about $1.65. Then pulled back to support and exploded today from 120 to 179, up 44 cents or 34%. 7.5 million shares traded, quite heavy. And you can see how the major declining tops line and lateral price resistance is just ahead, and our target up around the 192 range, where there may be some problems about moving forward from there. But if we do get that, we would look to see a test of this gap up around 350, and that's our secondary target should it break through here. CALX, CALX, with big earnings today, exploded. Now, this is a stock that was trading in the 20s and dropped down into the 5.5, 6 range down here. Over the last couple months, had been moving up steadily, pulled back to test the moving averages, popped, stalled for 2 days, and today exploded for 232 at 27%. 3.2 million traded. More importantly, the lateral price resistance here was taken out, and now we would look for a next move up around the 12 3/4 range as my next swing or scalp target up in the up here. There you go, right in that range. That's my next target. Let's see what happens with this and whether we get a follow through. Abbott also with a big day today. AVID jumped $1.91 or 19% on 2 million shares. You can see how resistance here was not only was taken out, but more importantly, the channel top here was spiked up through. We may very well get a move up near this gap as my next target and resistance up around 15.5, 16. Big day for MyTech today. Earnings were pretty good. The conference call was excellent. The company has a lot of stuff going on of a positive nature. You can see how after finally popping out of this 3.5 week flag, it exploded on the biggest volume ever traded in this stock, nearly 3.25 million shares in 1 day. And I checked all the way back to when they went public, when they were listed. The stock is by far the biggest trading session of any 1 day, all the way back. Anyway, so look at the pattern now. You'll see this declining tops line being tested. It was actually tested today at around that 1093 area. I was looking for a move to 1090.11. We got it. If it stalls in here and flags, great. If it gets through and spikes up, I would look for a move towards 12.5, maybe as high as 12 3/4, something in that zone, at which point I think we'll get more of a stall and a pullback consolidation, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm still looking for much better long-term results. And if you take a look at a 3-day chart here, you'll see the way I'm going to look at this is that the intermediate target now remains up in the high teens, 1920 zone thereabout, and that's what I'm looking for over the course of the next few months. But first, let's get through the highs. Mobi, MOBI had a nice day today, popping 69 cents or 17% on 1.4 million, closing at the exact high of the day, always a bullish factor, especially after you break out through a resistance zone and fly. So logically, one would look for a move up near the 6 range, but my initial target was about 5, and I think we'll test that tomorrow morning. Get through that and have any kind of momentum at all with good volume, we could very well see 5 3/4, 6 on this move. The long-term chart shows the big down channel has been taken out, the wedge here, and resistance levels are being taken out as well. So this augurs well, and a longer-term target around 7 or better, maybe head over the next several months, if the market cooperates, of course. DEXO, DEXO, a stock we recommended here in the pop and then consolidated for the next month. Finally got going this week with a pop yesterday and a nice follow-through pop and breakout today. That took it up 25 cents or 13% on 2.9 million. Now the top about 245 here, right in that zone there, 248 to be exact. Maybe test it tomorrow. That would be my scalp target for tomorrow. Should we get a follow-through? DEXO. You can see the top of the channel calls for a move as high as 3 3/4 over the course of the next few weeks potentially. Glue 445 up 50 cents. Good earnings yesterday. Very strong volume. That's what I wanted to see. A breakout with a gap, breakaway gap, finally confirming that this is a new trend in place, it appears. Short-term target at 5, secondary target at 6. Stay tuned on Glue. AMSC vindicated itself after popping and then pulling back for a couple of days. Note the volume pullback and the stock held support today. Popped from 535 to 605. It closed 2 cents off the high. Another excellent close. Here's a stock that's come way down from the mid-30s to the single digits around 3 or 4. At this point, it may be reversing. My next target is up around 7 1/4. THLD, well, we something interesting happened. We had 2 big days, 2 gaps in a row, right to resistance, and then the pullback. Yesterday morning, it got all the way back down to 291 before reversing. And today, you can see yesterday's high at 360, today's high at 358. So that 358.60 zone showing resistance. To get through that, look for a test of the 410 zone. More importantly, if momentum carries this one forward and volume starts to pick up again, we could see this in the 5, 5.5 range short term. SMS size swing trade is working. You can see after the break of the pennant here, it popped, and popped again. It did back off 287, which was just short of my 310 target, getting up to 287 today. Nevertheless, up 8 cents or 3.2%. It could have been a lot better, but I'll take it. An up day. Entropic up at 16 cents. That also backed off a little bit, but made a nominal new high at 738 today. When I say new high, it's the highest level reached since last August before it gapped down. Call it July, actually. So my natural resistance level to look at is this double top up here. It's way up around 9.5, although that is my next target for Entropic. Net list acting well of late. Take a look at the pop out of the wedge. Little flag here, held the trend line, popped again, ran up to resistance, couldn't get through, backed off, formed a little mini wedge right there. Also in low volume, and then popped again in the last few sessions. Today getting up to 420. Looks like it's about to break out with more volume. I think this stock gets to 5 short term. And TIVO, TIVO, which is breaking a long base pattern here, getting some kind of nice volume the last 3 sessions. On the order of 5 to 7 million shares each day. Yesterday was a nice reversal after partially filling the gap and testing the breakout point. It spiked up to as high as 12.14 before backing up to 11.98. Nevertheless, up a couple percent today, but it looks to me like this could get going. Test the 12.45 area that we reached up here, 12.65, excuse me, and then make it up into the 13.14 zone, maybe as high as 15. That's my next target. A measured move here takes you from about 4 1/4 points off of this level. That's 13. So let's look for 13 for starters. Now to the shorts. Reviewing a few boxes of shorts that aren't looking too good. You'll see that Tiffany's, which has a massive top formation, came down at a neckline near it, bottom of the channel, and then worked its way back in a rising wedge. Not liking the way that looks. Technicals look bad. It's right at the declining top line and declining 50 period moving average, and a failure here could result in a rollover test of 58 to 60. But more importantly, should that break, you can see this stock dropping onto the low to mid 50s. CRR, it rolled over pretty hard in the last few weeks, but particularly last week when it gapped down. It did bounce, only to roll over once again and down another 543 today. This stock is in dire straits and in trouble. However, it is at the spike low from October, and there may be some support in the zone, but the close was a negative one today, the lowest close we've seen in about a year and change. So if this does have more downside momentum, I would look for this to maybe reach into the mid to high 70s, at least 80 or so. UPL, one of the weak petroleum stocks of late, we're seeing some negativity in that group. This one, very, very negative type action, and I'm looking for the stock to test down towards the 20 range. COG, another oil and gas stock that is having a tough time of it, has formed a topping formation, head and shoulders, broke down, now forming a bear wedge. If this breaks, look for a test of 28.9 for starters, and if that breaks, mid-20s. JDAS software, we're showing you the bear flag that developed after the gap down. Well, it then gap down again and snap back, but I got a feeling we roll over one more time at least. We've had a 1, 2, 3, 4 wave move. We may get a fifth wave down towards the 21.5, 22.5 zone. That's what I'm looking for. OPNET, OPNT got slam dunked today for 585 or 15.4%. Line was huge. The stock broke several patterns today. This line was broken and rallied back to. This is a triple resistance level here, here, and there. It failed miserably there, and it's coming down to test this 28.9 zone. That's my short-term target. If that breaks, look for something in the mid-20s. WPI, Watson Pharmaceuticals, with a massive head and shoulders top formation. Snapped back, failed, and pulled back. Not looking as bad as some of the others, but the technicals look quite bad, and I'm thinking this downtrend continues. And lastly, EQT, forming a bear wedge within the confines of a very distinct down channel after this big reversal day triggered this whole decline here. However, we've had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave decline followed by this wedge. Will we get a 6th, 7th wave down? If we do, the next target's 43, 43.5 for EQT. And those are your ideas about long and short for today. You know, guys, have a good evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.